morning. My name is Vaughn Purdy, host of Falcon Focus. I'm excited to introduce a returning guest of ours, Dr. Frank Smith. Dr. Smith is the Executive Vice President at Simmons College of Kentucky and Special Assistant to our own Dr. Kevin Cosby. Welcome, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Vaughn. It's good to be here.
Good to have you here. We're going to continue our conversation on SB 270 and the impact that it has on the state of Kentucky, JCPS, and Dr. Frank Smith has been involved in the process from day one. So tell us a little bit about your experience and the impact of SB 270 to Simmons College of Kentucky and the state.
It's revolutionary. First of all, this particular bill being passed is an example of Simmons carrying out the mission that we equip our students to be, and that is agents of change.
Yes.
There is a law that allowed certain institutions to do certain programming based on regional accreditation, and that was not necessarily something that the federal law required. So we had some persons to work with us to advance the notion that since Simmons College of Kentucky is fully accredited with an accreditor licensed in the state, as well as our accreditor being approved by the Department of Education and the Council on Higher Education Accreditation, it should be worthy of being received, and also because we are an HBCU.
Right.
And so that was advanced, and we were able to impact change and in the legislation that not just benefited the institution, but it provides more resources for Kentucky resident students to attend a private college like other private colleges in this Commonwealth.
Can you talk a little bit more about the resources that are going to be impactful?
There is what's called the Kentucky Tuition Grant, which was allowable for private colleges under regional accreditation. Now that regulations of accreditation have been changed, all accreditors are referred to as nationally recognized accrediting bodies. And so this made sense then that we would have this law changed, which was removal of a bureaucratic red tape situation that allows our students now at Simmons to get nearly $3,000. I think literally it's $2,910 of the Kentucky tuition grant.
Right.
And this goes a long way with meeting tuition needs and other educational needs while they're matriculating with us.
So have we rolled it out to the students yet, and what's been the feedback from students?
Students have been informed. Our Student Services Department has held Zoom conferences due to the various restrictions we've had due to the pandemic. And the students, along with understanding our tuition was being increased, but to learn that this would be available to them, it helped to bridge the gap, a vital gap that's necessary in meeting their financial obligations for their education. And so they're pleased, naturally, to get grant money that, along with other grant opportunities that come from the Commonwealth that we were already receiving. Okay,
tell us a little bit about the partnerships. We're going to be working with some of the institutions around the state. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Namely, we are the oldest black college in the state. We were founded in 1879, Kentucky State, shortly thereafter, a few years, and this gives us as HBCUs, the two HBCUs, one private, which is Simmons, the other public, which is Kentucky State. This law that has been passed gives Kentucky State the opportunity to partner with Simmons, and that broadens our understanding in the Commonwealth about the significance of HBCUs. And this will allow Kentucky State to work with Simmons in meeting some of the objectives of uplifting West Louisville and communities surrounding our institution here. And so things like overcoming the food desert, food insecurities, health inequities, these things, we now have the charge by this legislation to work together to try to problem solve these matters in our community and to work together to do it.
Okay. Now, you've been around for a little while at Simmons, Dr. Frank. Tell our viewers about your journey and impart a little bit, if you will, your closeness with Dr. Cosby and how you work to carry forth his vision, because you're very closely.
Yes, Dr. Cosby is a longtime family friend. His paternal grandparents at one time attended the church I used to pastor, Lakin and Maudie Cosby, and I never knew then that one day I would work with Dr. Cosby in this situation of Simmons. But when I was available and he found out, he said, "Would you come work with me at Simmons?" And this was in April of 2007. I had already done some work with him. I was with him at the inauguration with the Ministerial Coalition in 2005, and was aware of the progress of Simmons. Just didn't know that the opportunity would come. And since 2007, I've been right by his side, working with him to fulfill the objectives of becoming accredited, adding academic programs, returning to our original campus. We did as early as 2007, later that year. But then just to kind of help sacrifice with him so that we could get the institution to the next level. And as I sit now looking back over these 14 going on 15 years, I am just so moved by the increase of students, the increase of staff, the activities, our band program, our basketball teams, just in the finally seeing the community external of Simmons embracing Simmons like they're doing, and helping to be a part of the lifting process. I shall always cherish this and cherish my friend Dr. Cosby, his vision, his leadership, his tenacity, his faith, his determination, his drive, all of these attributes that he has brought to bear. It's been so pivotal at this time for Simmons. I really think that none of this could have happened, of course, without God's help, but especially Dr. Cosby. And it was a wise decision that he was appointed to be the president, the 13th president of Simmons, and he has proven himself as a great presidential leader, second to none. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of his work, and he's not through yet.
No, he's not through. It seems like in many ways that Simmons is just getting started. It's almost like in the last couple of years, you've seen it, I've seen it. Tell me what you think this program and just the awarding of this SB 270, what it means and what it's going to do to our brand.
It is so, it's like the fulfillment of why we came into existence. The very first name of our institution was Kentucky Normal and Theological Institute, normal implying teaching, teacher preparation. And the idea that we are returning to the notion of making sure that our school system and school systems beyond Jefferson County have prepared, well-qualified teachers that look like our black students, that they can relate with and that can help resonate with some of the challenges, someone they can talk to in a teacher and that they know understands. And we want to prepare our teachers uniquely so that they will be multidimensional in how they impact the lives of students. And we believe that this is not just good for black students in our school system, but for white students, all students. The more that they see black teacher before them, the better understanding they'll have. And the idea of also being transformative in how they teach as well as what they teach, the curriculum. Those things too need to be impacted so that black children can be successful in their educational attainment.
Okay. As I recall, you were actually at the signing of SB 270. Tell me how you felt as that all came to fruition and you had been a part of such a monumental change at Simmons College of Kentucky.
It was a very moving day. I liked the signing day with Governor Beshear because not only did the SB 270 get signed by him that day, but there were two other laws that were passed that were impactful for the black community in particular. And the way that was done, and to highlight Simmons College of Kentucky helps our community to understand the significance of having an historic black college designated by the federal government right here.
Right here.
There are only a few, 100 actually, and one in the nation, and very few cities. Some cities of those 100 have 3 or 4 or maybe 5 or more, but we have one in Louisville. Nashville has 4. But the significance of how we are able to help transform our community and help our community to see Simmons in a new light is profound. And that's the feeling I got. It was a historical day, and a day that I believe was going to be impactful for the uplift of our community.
Okay. Have you had a chance to talk to some of the students about these changes? I understand we're going to be having some new educational offerings, perhaps in the fall or in the next year. Can you speak about any of those yet?
I think that the students are happy because what I'm getting from the students I've spoken with, I haven't had a chance to see all of them like usual, but the ones that I have interacted with, they are proud of Simmons and the fact that they are a part of Simmons during this time, and that they can benefit from these changes, especially the Kentucky tuition grant will be helpful to them. And the fact that they are a part of an institution where they are helping to bring about the change. Some of our students get to experience the development of the institution with their own hands, their contributions, whether it be with the band, whether it be with some of the internship opportunities or some of the student organizations. They get to help advise other students on how to be successful. They get to give the institution leaders feedback, and it's all taken, and we receive it, and we grow from it. We implement what we can, and it helps us to share their heart with the community, supporters who want to see them successful. So I think that they feel like more than that other institutions, they are actually a part of the actual framework of what makes Simmons work.
And I think Simmons can do that because you have a smaller student base. Again, we've been in COVID and we haven't been able to see the students, but there are going to be a lot of new surprises for students, I think, in the fall.
One of the things that they're a part of, Vaughn, is the online education. They are our persons of testing, if you will, to improve our distance learning opportunities, and so their feedback is critical at a time that we're embarking on the new era with even strengthening our online education delivery.
Good. Well, I want to thank you for joining me on the show, but what I want to ask you one final question is, in the next 5 years, what do you see happening at Simmons? So much has happened in a short, brief period of time. So what can we hope for in the next 5 years?
I see Simmons, of course, fleshing out its desires. We hope to have at least a total of an additional 15 degrees on top of the ones we have. I see that coming to fruition. I see us moving into more of a national student body with our online distance learning. So graduations are going to be interesting when people are flying in from around the nation to graduate. I see the Commonwealth's employee base being strengthened. I see students staying in Louisville being a destination spot because of Simmons, and helping to build the workforce of Louisville and Kentucky, and thus making our alumni base stronger. So I see more alumni activities. I see us moving perhaps into more athletic events and more community-based events centered around the school. I see the school having more economic development impact, where we are with employment opportunities, with construction opportunities. We will be adding to and bringing dollars into this economy, this local economy, that without having an HBCU, these dollars would not come. So the impact is just going to strengthen. And I also see change, not just local or state or national, but global change because of how our students are being prepared to impact the world.
Good. There is so much more that we could talk about, but we're going to thank you again, Dr. Smith, for coming on the show. I know we have to have you back in another episode when all these things come to fruition. We come and tell our audience all about it.
Sure.
So up next, I'm going to have a student from Simmons College of Kentucky, DeMarco Brown, who's going to talk to us about his experience at Simmons College of Kentucky. Stay tuned.
Did you know that the word alma mater comes from the Latin meaning nurturing mother? One of our primary objectives at Simmons College of Kentucky is to nurture late bloomers. So it doesn't matter if you struggle through high school just to graduate or even if you earn your GED. We don't look at a student's past, we look at their potential. Simmons College of Kentucky, creating the next generation of thinkers.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Falcon Focus. With me now is DeMarco Brown. He is the president of the Student Government Association, or SGA, here at Simmons College of Kentucky. Welcome, DeMarco.
How you doing?
Thank you for coming on the show today. I wanted to have you on to talk about the impact of the changes at Simmons College of Kentucky. But first, I know the guests want to hear all about your background and your journey to Simmons College of Kentucky. Tell me how you heard about Simmons and how you got here.
Well, I was teaching. I've been teaching marching bands for roughly about 10 years. And I took a band to a competition that I was at. My marching band did well, and Mr. Julian Sam actually was the band director at the time, and he came up to me, approached me, and wanted to recruit my student. And of course, I had no idea what Simmons was or who. I never heard of Simmons, so I looked them up later on, and I started paying attention and just watching the band grow. After a couple of years, I actually started sending students.
Oh, good, good. Now tell me a little bit more about that. You were living in Cincinnati at the time, and you said you taught.
Yep, I taught a marching band
at a high school.
High school. Well, it was charter school, K through 12, but the marching band was 5th grade through 12th grade, and of course they were competing at a high school level, the entire band.
Great.
So.
Now, what brought about your love of music? Were you trained in music?
My entire band, my entire family was in marching band. I watched them, growing up.
And where did you watch them? They were in Cincinnati?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's
Does
where
Oklahoma
I'm from. Have an HBCU?
Yep, Langston University.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. There's 101 HBCUs, and that's just another one of them.
Right.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Yep. But
so there's that rich history. I'm from North Carolina. Has 10 HBCUs. North Carolina A&T, all those marching bands.
Right.
Winston-Salem State, Rams, go Rams. And that's what made me come to Winston-Salem State.
Okay.
Went to a homecoming, saw the band when I was 14, and I said, "Ooh, I'm in." So that love of marching bands. Tell me about your students a little bit before we move on to Simmons. But tell me about your students back in Cincinnati and how they like marching bands.
My students in Cincinnati, pretty much all of them learned from scratch. It's very rare that I came across a student that already knew how to play. Taught them from scratch, and I would consistently take them to competitions, and after a while they started getting first places and everything, and they're seeing all of the older students go off to college on scholarships.
And that's wonderful.
Right, it's been nonstop ever since.
Yeah, and that's transformative, as you know.
Right.
It changes their entire life. So you talk a little bit more about the band competition. Was it the one? What band competition was it where you met Julian Sam?
That was actually in Nashville, Tennessee. No, Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee at Oak Haven High School's Battle of the Bands, and that was, I want to say 2016, 2017, somewhere around then.
So there are a lot of band competitions like that are around the country?
Oh, everywhere. I mean, every city, year-round, winter, anytime.
Okay. So now tell me about your transition here to Simmons College of Kentucky.
Well, all my kids were going. And they found out that my title was assistant teacher instead of the head teacher, which is because I didn't finish college my first time around.
Okay.
And they saw what I was doing, and I'm sending so many kids to Simmons. They said, well, why don't you come and finish too?
Exactly. So
And
how
I thought
many
about it.
how many more credits did you need when you came?
Well, actually, I decided to start from scratch.
Oh,
I started from scratch,
nice.
and it's been working out. So.
Good. So what is your major?
Music.
Music.
Yep, yeah,
And so you know about the new facilities we've just created.
Mhm,
Tell
yep.
our audience a little bit about that.
Accident Hall. Well, when I first seen it, they were still doing work,
Right.
so I didn't
it was
get to
old.
see it.
It's our historic building. It was one of our last buildings built back in
Mhm.
1879.
Yep.
So it needed a makeover.
Right.
And then we had a wonderful donor named Barney Barnett, who was our board chair
Mhm.
for a couple of years. He's a local businessman with All Good Foods, and he poured money into that project, actually $3 million to renovate
Right.
that space. So you came at a great time.
Right, perfect timing.
And we opened that building in October of 2020.
Mhm.
Despite COVID, we opened it outside. We had a grand opening outside
Right.
in the cold, I recall.
Right, I was
And-
there too.
Yeah, and we have opened that building. And when the students come back in the fall, what do you expect? They haven't seen it yet.
Everybody's gonna be ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
Very ecstatic. I know the band, a new place to rehearse, a new ground, a new
Right.
facility, more classrooms.
Yes.
Everything's gonna be much more.
And it's all brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something that hasn't been done on the Simmons campus since the original buildings that were built. That building was built in, I think, 1880. That
Yeah.
building. So this is historic that we have a building that has been renovated and restored.
Right.
And so now our students are going to be so excited when they come back. Because
Right.
it's
I'm just
new.
happy to be a part of
Yeah.
it all.
So tell me how recruitment is going. Are you telling students about it? Are they,
Me,
despite COVID?
I know one thing is I am big on recruiting. That's something that I do everywhere. Even this past weekend, I was in Florida on
Okay.
vacation, and I happened to recruit 5 people to Simmons, and applications submitted
Oh,
and all. So,
great. What an
that's just
asset.
something
That's
that I
wonderful.
do. I try to push for greatness, and
Yeah.
the only way I can do it is if we get more people on this campus, so it
Yeah.
can be great.
It'll be great. It can be great. Now, what's been your experience? What do you think about your teachers, what the classes you're taking?
Classes. My classes are pretty intense for me because I'm like right now I'm even taking 27 credits.
Woo.
But I go to 2 schools at once. I go
Okay.
to Simmons and I also go to Cincinnati State.
That's a lot.
Just multitasking just to get it all done quick
Okay.
and
So
in a
what's
hurry.
your anticipated graduation date?
Next May, not this May, but
right.
22. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So,
But that'll be here before you know it.
right.
It's only
right.
a year away.
Exactly.
It goes by really quickly.
I'm ready.
What are some of the courses you're taking here? Because I'm not as familiar with the music program.
Right now, I'm in intense music theory 3. I've got piano classes. I have to do solo and ensembles with the marching band, concert band, choir.
Okay.
To do music, it takes a lot.
So who are some of your professors?
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
He's a funny one. He's a good guy. Mr. Dunn. Well, now he's Dr. Dunn,
Okay.
to my understanding. He's one of my best teachers as far as teaching me all the music that I need to know. We got Dr. Davenport,
Yes,
who's
thank you.
actually the marching band director, the chair of the department.
Chair of
and
the department.
He got 25 titles.
And he's also a graduate of an HBCU as
Right.
well.
So, my teachers, they're all pretty good. I love it.
So how has it been through COVID? How have you managed, and how has it been? It's
well-
always been an adjustment.
I will say that I would prefer to be in person.
That's good.
I would definitely prefer to be in person, but having online classes has helped as far as it kind of lets you. Now I can actually work a little bit more and save up and be ready for this next school year. Just
Okay.
prepare myself for it.
Well, good. So what are your plans when post-graduation? You have any idea?
Yes, hopefully hopefully I can find a position somewhere around campus. If not that, then I already know that I'll end up in Jefferson County Public Schools,
yes.
and hopefully be starting a new band program somewhere. So.
Good. So that's why another question we wanted to ask you. We were talking about this new teacher education program, and I understand you're a part of it.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
You want to be a part of it.
Once I get done and they can add whatever they can add on there for me, we're going to get it going.
Well, this is a program that will let people who already have degrees come into a teacher education program. And with all your experience you already have, I don't see why you wouldn't be a perfect fit for that program. So it'd be great. Now, you also have put in time to be the Student Government Association president.
Yes.
So how did that come about?
I just noticed that a lot of things going on at Simmons. We need more students' voices. And I know I'm a little older than the ones that are fresh out of high school.
That's a good thing.
But at the end of the day, I noticed that there are things that can be done, and I'm the person to do it.
Good. I like that. So what is one of the first things you want to put on your list to get done?
One, I really want to try to get us a different venue for our basketball games. Right now we do them over at St. Stephen's Church, which is good. But I do recognize that the facility needs more space, because if we're looking at a lot more students coming in, we need more space.
Because that is an issue when we are there and it's loud with the band. There's not a lot of room, and then spectators can't spend a lot of time.
Right.
They have to go up to the top of the rafters.
Right.
And we actually are blessed to have St. Stephen's gym to be able to play our basketball games, and we're able to get that. The locker rooms and everything up to code.
Right.
However, as you say, the more attention that comes to Simmons, the more space we're going to need. So we can maybe work with you on that, because a part of what I do here is also to reach out to donors, people who want to pour into Simmons, to try to come up with partnerships. So we can maybe come up with some creative way to make that happen.
Oh, definitely.
So what's number 2 on your list?
Right now we're getting ready for the first week of school and welcome week. We're going to be preparing different things for everybody to do each day.
Good.
I know I believe we're going to be out there around noon, the entire welcome week, and every day it's going to be a different function.
That'd be
and
good.
Just, I guess, stay tuned and see what happens.
So how many students are a part of SGA?
8.
That's good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get more. But
You
right
probably
now,
will
8.
when school gets back in. Now, tell us how you've been meeting so far. You've been meeting on Zoom.
On Zoom, and now that things are starting to slowly lighten up, the ones that are already still here on campus, we've all been meeting here. So
Okay. So what is the one? We talked about a little bit about your experiences. How would you like to see Simmons look in the next 5 years?
Hopefully, I could see more sports, a lot more sports. Dear Lord, we need more sports. No, but I know that they were announcing something about track and everything starting this fall, so that's a good thing. But eventually, we would like to see a football team, some cheerleaders, some more fraternities and sororities going on campus.
We've got one, I think, but there's always room for more.
Right, there's always room for more. But that's where I see in the next 5 years. I don't think it'll be hard for them to get there, especially with the way things are going, with the new infrastructure around campus, dorms being set up for freshmen for next year. A lot of things being put in place, so I can see it happening.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're having a great experience at Simmons College of Kentucky, and just make sure you continue to be a voice for positivity. And I want to thank you for being our guest today on this edition of Falcon Focus. Come back.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to maybe it's too small of a studio to get marching band in here, but maybe we can do a segment outside.
All right. Yeah, definitely.
Introduce the marching band in the
definitely.
fall. Okay?
Definitely.
Thank you all for joining me for this week's edition of Falcon Focus. My name is Vaughn Purdy, and I hope you have a great week.